Okay, Billy Miller. God, man, what's not to love about Billy Miller? What a kid. So Billy got to our unit. He came in from security forces. So he didn't get to our unit as a private. He had been in for a little while. And it's a little bit difficult for the guys who come in from security forces because they're on the senior side. So there's an expectation that they have a certain competency, but they didn't train with the unit. So, I mean, to give you an idea, if you've ever had a job, pick something simple. I don't know, like you wash dishes at a restaurant or something like that. Well, the way they wash dishes in one restaurant is a lot different than the way they wash dishes in another restaurant, right? So there's little nuances and little things that where you put the dishes and then, the type of soap that you use during this type of thing or whatever the case is. Those little nuances, it's very difficult because they're supposed to know because of the rank that they hold and the experience that they hold. A lot of times they kind of get put in senior positions when they come in from security forces, but they don't really know how to operate with the unit that they're joining very easily. So it takes a lot of humility, a lot of eating humble pie, and kind of stepping all over yourself before you can really get on board and start flowing well with the unit that you're joining. Okay, so for Billy Miller to join the unit the way that he did, um, the humility was incredible. The thirst and want to be an active part of what's happening. I mean, you can imagine like how easy it'd be to withdraw in a situation like that and just kind of give up and be like, I don't know, these guys are weird, they're retarded, I don't care, blah 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 blah. They're gonna do their thing their way, and I'm gonna do it my way, and whatever, right? Now, Billy wasn't like that. Billy was like, okay, I need to understand how you guys do things. I want to get into the mainstream, get into the fold with what you guys do, and I want to play my part. I want to do my duty. And I really want to do a good job of it because he never lost sight of the fact that he was there to fulfill a purpose. And that purpose was very profound. The guy was an ardent patriot. He just loved America, and he loved the Marines that were with him, and the Marines that were over him, and the Marines that were under him. I mean, just everybody around him. He had such a big heart for. There was never a time when I'd hear him complain about anything. And let me explain something to you guys, okay? When I say I never hear him complain, we complain about everything. I mean, everything you can imagine. If it's a sunny day out and it's 80 degrees with a nice breeze, we're going to be like, oh yeah, the Marine Corps ruined a perfect day. We're going to complain about a perfect day. Okay, Billy? No. Billy would be like, no, it is a perfect day. Thank God we're here, man. Like, he's such a good heart, such a good dude. And I find myself saying this over and over and over again about the guys from Bravo 18 during that Fallujah deployment. We had such an incredible mixture of personalities and incredible character that it blows my mind how blessed we were as a unit to have the people that we had with us. So that being said, my favorite story about Billy, it was actually in Fallujah. We had some tanks come in and they were firing on an objective, and Billy was outside when that happened, and he was actually kind of just forward of one of the muzzles. He wasn't in front of it, but he was just forward of one of the muzzles of the tanks when it went off, and it blew his hearing out. Like, I mean, the kid was, I don't even know how he stood up straight. I'm sure his equilibrium was all off. I mean, he was in a bad way. But we got him down to the side, and we're taking care of him. And there was a point in time where it was all quiet, and we just had to be like super stealth because we were sneaking into this house. And we didn't want the enemy to know where we were at. And Billy used to do this thing, where he'd scrunch his nose. If he didn't understand it, he'd be like, He kind of scrunch his nose up like that. So he was kind of doing that the whole time, and I could just tell, like, he was trying to hear and he was trying to understand what was going on around him, but his hearing was blown out. So I get him to the side and I'm like telling him, like, shh, be quiet, and I'm kind of whispering in his ear that he needs to do something. I forget what it was I was telling him to do, but I was trying to be really stealth about it. And Billy's just like, huh? Yeah, I was in front of the tank when it went off. My hearing's shot. I can't hear you. And I was like, Billy, dude, shut up, shut up. And he kind of starts giggling. He's like, sorry. Okay, we're in like the most dire of circumstances here, okay? Like, we are full-fledged combat, middle of the night, super stealth. Again, he's got every reason to show up like a piece of crap or to let the fear and anxiety get him, or something like that. No, I'm trying to tell him to be quiet, and he's kind of giggling like, oh, sorry, man. He was such a jolly guy. He was such a pleasure and a joy to work with. And just like I was saying in the other videos, there are some people that when you got to work with them, you're just dreading it. You're like, oh, this dude's so difficult. was the last one I want on this detail, or on this mission, or whatever the case is. Every time you see Billy show up for something, you're like, thank God I got a strong one. I can rely on him. And I don't have to worry about incompetence, bad attitudes, insubordination, belligerence, all those friction type things that leaders, especially leaders in combat, have to deal with that we all hate. Billy was none of those things. When Billy put his shoulder behind the wheel, it was going to be effective. He was going to push with everything he had, and every single time he showed up, it was just a pleasure to work with him. So, Billy Miller, my man, I know you're looking down on me. I'm proud of you, dude. I'm trying to live a life where you'll be proud of me as well. I know all of us guys down here are so blessed and so grateful that we got a chance to know you. All right, and of course, Mama and Dad Miller, you know how I feel about you guys too. All right, I got to give you the shout out. So, if anybody ever watches this and you've never had a chance to meet Susie Miller and and Billy's dad, they're the most wonderful people maybe on the planet. I don't know. All right, that's all I got, guys.